blade drags across bone, one notch, a thin, deliberate cut no wider than a fingernail. It does nothing. It feeds no one, it kills nothing, it cannot be eaten, worn, or thrown. And it is one of the most important marks any human being has ever made, because that scratch is not a decoration, it is not a picture. It stands for something that is not there. It means one night, one day. One thing counted and set down outside a human skull, where it can wait. 44,000 years ago in southern Africa, someone picks up a bone and a blade and does this on purpose. This is not a story we are imagining. The bone is real. It was found in a place called Border Cave in the Lebombo Mountains on the border of South Africa and Eswatini. It is the fibula, the calf bone of a baboon, and along one edge run 29 deliberate notches. Scientists have dated it with 24 separate radiocarbon measurements to around 44,000 years old. It is the oldest mathematical object ever found anywhere on Earth, older than farming, older than cities, older than the wheel and writing by tens of thousands of years, and it fits in the palm of your hand. Every calendar, every equation, every line of code that runs the world, all of it begins here in the dark at a fire with a single scratch that someone decided would mean a number. Meet Nari. Nari has a problem that has no name yet because no one has ever solved it. There is something Nari needs to know, not now, but later. Something that must be predicted, not merely remembered. Maybe it is the herds, the great animals move with the seasons, and the band must be at the river crossing when they pass, not too early, not a day too late. Miss it and the winter is hungry. Maybe it is the moon. Some journey, some gathering, some hunt depends on the full moon's light, still many nights away. Or maybe it is closer than that. A child is coming. And Nari wants to know when. For 100,000 years, the only place to keep such a thing was inside the head, and the head is a poor jar for numbers. Ask yourself how many days it has been since anything in your own life, and notice how quickly you reach for a phone, a calendar, a written date. You do not hold it in your head either. No one does. We only ever seem to because at some point we invented places to put it. Nari lives before all of those places exist. There is nowhere to write it down because writing itself is still tens of thousands of years away. There is only the mind, and the mind keeps losing count. Try it yourself. How many nights since the last full moon? Not roughly, exactly. You cannot. Memory blurs. Was it 9 nights or 11? Did the rains start 12 days ago or 15? The mind rounds, guesses, drifts, and a guess is no good when the herd only crosses once and the child comes only once and the moon will not wait for you to be sure. This is the wall every human mind had pressed against since the beginning. We could feel time passing. We could not hold it. And it is not only that memory blurs, memory lies. It stretches the anxious weight and shrinks the happy stretch. It bends the past to fit how you feel right now. A hungry person swears the herds are late when they are early. A frightened person is certain the danger is near when it is far. The mind is a storyteller, not a counter, and a story is exactly the wrong tool for measuring time. Every human being who had ever lived carried this same flaw in the same soft place behind the eyes. For 100,000 years, no one had found a way around it, and the stakes are real. In this world, being wrong about time can kill you. Arrive at the crossing too late, and the great herds have already passed, and the band goes into winter thin and desperate. Set out on a long journey misjudging the moon, and you cross the open country in darkness, blind when the big cats hunt. Time counted correctly is food and safety and life. Time guessed at is hunger and danger and death. So the pressure to solve this is not idle curiosity. It is survival pressing on the mind like a hand. We were drowning in a river of days with nothing to grab. Nari is about to reach out and grab one. The leap, when it comes, is so simple that we have forgotten it was ever hard. Here is a bone, the long, straight leg bone of a baboon, pale and smooth and ready. Here is a sharp flake of stone. And here is the thought, arriving for the first time in the history of minds. What if a mark could stand in for a night? Not a picture of the night, not the moon drawn small, just a cut. One cut for one night that has passed. Sit with how strange that is. The night is gone, you cannot keep it, but you can keep a scratch that means it. The mark is not the thing, the mark stands for the thing. That gap between the scratch and the night it represents is the birthplace of every symbol we have. This is the same leap that will one day let a shape mean a sound, and a sound mean a word, and a word mean an idea. It is the leap from experiencing time to recording it. From living inside the river of days to standing on the bank and marking each one as it goes by. And notice what the mark does not need to look like. It is not a picture of the moon. It is not a drawing of a night. It is just a cut, abstract, arbitrary, meaningless in itself, that a mind has agreed will stand for one thing. That agreement that a simple sign can carry a meaning it does not resemble is the deepest idea our species ever had. It is what lets letters carry sounds and numbers carry quantities and symbols carry everything. All of it, every code we have ever written, is built on this one quiet act of agreement, made first at a fire in Africa, alone with a blade. No god handed it down. No teacher taught it. A single ordinary person, wrestling with an ordinary problem, reached past the edge of the human mind and pulled something new into the world. And once it existed in the world, it could never again be taken back. No animal does this. No creature before our kind ever pulled a number out of its own head and set it down in the world to wait. Nari does not know any of these words. Nari only knows this. A cut will remember for me what I cannot trust myself to remember. And so the blade comes down again, too. Understand how enormous this small thing is. Every other creature on earth lives entirely inside the present moment. The animal remembers and the animal fears, but the animal cannot set a thought down outside itself and come back to it later. Nari has just done exactly that. A thought, the number of nights that have passed, now lives in the bone instead of the brain. It will still be there tomorrow, unchanged, waiting, no matter what Nari dreams or forgets or fears in the dark. This is the first time in the history of life on this planet that a mind has stored a piece of itself in the outside world. It is the ancestor of the written word, the library, the hard drive, every place we have ever kept a thought that would not fit inside a single skull. Here is the part that turns a clever idea into a technology. The idea is nothing without the discipline to keep it. One notch each dusk, that is the rule. As the light dies before sleep, one cut, not two if you feel restless. Not none if you're tired or hungry or afraid. One night, one cut. The rule is the whole invention. Because the great enemy here is the very thing Nari is trying to escape, the human urge to guess. There will be a night when the count feels wrong, when memory insists it has been longer or shorter than the marks say. And in that moment, Nari must do something almost holy. Trust the bone over the mind. The marks do not get tired. They do not round up when they are hungry or panic when they are scared. They simply hold what was set down. Night after night, the row grows. Nari runs a thumb along it in the dark and feels the days as ridges, a week of them, then two, then more. And there is a quiet courage in this that is easy to miss. To keep the count, Nari must trust a dead piece of bone over the living, insistent voice of memory. That is not natural. Every instinct says the mind knows best, that surely it has been longer than these few marks suggest. To lay down that instinct and defer to the record instead is a discipline our whole civilization would later be built on, and it starts here, in one person choosing the bone over the feeling. Time has become a thing you can hold in your hand, a stretch of it you can count with your eyes shut, and the real Lebombo bone, the one that survived, carries 29 of these notches. 29 deliberate cuts checked under the microscope, made by a human hand and no accident of knowing or where. It is broken at one end, so 29 may not even be the whole count. The record may have run longer before it snapped, and we are looking at only the surviving stub of it. And this discipline, this refusal to guess, is the true birth of science. Not the clever idea, the honest bookkeeping. The willingness to record what actually happened, night after night, even when it is boring, even when it contradicts what you feel. Every experiment ever run, every measurement ever logged, every careful record kept against the pull of wishful thinking descends from this one stubborn rule. One night, one cut, no matter what the tired mind wants to believe. 29, hold that number. It is about to matter. Why 29? Look up. The moon takes a little over 29 nights to go from full to gone and back to full again. One complete cycle. 29 notches is almost exactly one turn of the moon. And that has led many to believe the Lebombo bone is a moon counter, the first calendar. A way to say, when the marks fill this row, the moon will be full again. When the row is done, the thing you are waiting for will come. The moon is the perfect first thing to count. It is the one clock in the sky that changes shape a little every single night, reliably forever for everyone. It does not care whether you are watching. It simply cycles full, half gone, and full again, with a patience no human life can match. To carve its rhythm into a bone is to copy a piece of the sky's own order and carry it in your hand. For the first time, the heavens are not just something to wonder at, they are something to count. Some go further, and here we should be honest that it is a guess, that a count of near 29 might track not the moon but the body. A woman's cycle runs close to the same length, and some have suggested the first mathematician may have been a woman counting toward a birth. We cannot prove any of it. The bone does not tell us who cut it or why. It could have counted moons or months or debts or days until a gathering. It is even possible it counted nothing at all and we are reading meaning into marks. That honesty matters. But the marks are deliberate, evenly spaced, made by a human hand with intent, and 29 is a striking, suggestive number to land on. The most careful reading is that someone was keeping account of something that mattered, and the moon is the natural thing a count of 29 would track. The first mathematician may have been counting the moon, or counting toward a birth, we cannot know. But either way, the power is the same, because now watch what a kept count can do. The night comes when the last notch is cut and the row is full, and Nari looks up and the moon is full exactly as the bones said it would be. Or the herds appear at the crossing on the marked day, or the child comes, feel that. For the first time in the history of the world, a human being has predicted the future, not by magic, not by luck, but by counting. A number was carried outside a human skull, kept faithfully night after night, and it came true. The universe kept its promise because someone finally found a way to hold the universe to it. Think about what that gives a people. The ones who can count the moon can tell the others when to gather, when to travel, when the river will be crossable and the herds will come. Knowledge of the future is power, and for the first time it does not live only in the head of the oldest, wisest member of the band to die with them. It lives in a bone that can be passed to the next hand. The count outlives the counter. That is the birth of prediction. That is science 44,000 years early, cut into the leg bone of a baboon by firelight. Step back and look at what that scratch became. From this single idea that a mark can stand for a number, everything followed. The tally became the tablet became the written numeral. The numeral became arithmetic and geometry and the mathematics that measures the stars. Every calendar that has ever told a farmer when to plant descends from a row of notches like these. Every countdown, every clock, every ledger of what is owed and what is owned. Every equation that ever launched a rocket or predicted an eclipse. Every line of code running in every machine on Earth. All of it rests at the very bottom on the same impossible little leap that Nari made at a fire in southern Africa, that a scratch can mean one. The Lebombo bone is the oldest mathematical object we have ever found, older than every city, every temple, every written word by tens of thousands of years, and it is nothing but a baboon's leg bone with 29 careful cuts in it. We tend to think our greatness lives in the grand things, the pyramids, the rockets, the machines, but the real turning point was smaller and quieter than any of those. It was a single person in the dark deciding that a scratch could carry a thought. Everything else is just that idea, repeated and refined for 44,000 years. The notch became the numeral became the equation. The equation became the map of the stars and the code in your hand. But it is all the same act, over and over, a mind reaching out of itself to hold a piece of the world still, so it can be counted and known and trusted. But look closer, and it is the moment our species reached out of its own head and began to hold the universe still long enough to count it. Nari never knew any of that would follow. Nari only needed to know when the herd would come, or the moon would fill, or the child would arrive. But in solving that one small human problem, Nari cracked open the whole future, handed our species a way to reach past the limits of a single mind and count the world. The universe became countable on the day someone decided a scratch could mean one.